Hi there and welcome back, my friends, to Torment, Tides of Numenera. And what we're going to do now is follow our sire into the labyrinth. Whoa, it's all pretty creepy down here. We'll see how much more creepy it can get. Been healed by the sire's daughter.
Making a note.
And now, coming back to the place we were at the start of the game. So I guess we'll have to go there somehow. Or we'll have to go in here. The massive door leads to the resonance, but it is barred by a sturdy brass cage. And by this, I mean,
Fine.
what can we do here even? Can't the scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door? Someone made a great effort to get inside, but to no avail. As you approach, however, the bars of the door shudder and bend. It wants to let you in. Place your hand on the surface and will it to open. The door doesn't open at your touch. Instead, you are drawn into the door itself. You're in a glass dome, several kilometers above the ground. Blue sky fills your vision. Beneath you is a floor of golden metal. A deafening klaxon blares in warning against something. A familiar-looking stasis chamber lies in the center of the dome. A chest fashioned from synth and cold iron sits to one side. Behind the port, a diamond hovers in the air, scattering prismatic light. The pedestal glows near your hand, a deep azure blue. There's nothing that seems to warrant the blaring klaxons. Yet you know the alarm sounds for a reason. Open the synth chest. The chest is locked with a keypad wearing 17 strange symbols. You're about to lose hope. You realize you know which symbols to press to unlock the chest. You enter the correct code before the memory can slip away. The chest opens with a soft click. The only items of note inside are a wooden shaft with a multicolored crystal tied to one end, and a large hemisphere made of azure steel. Examine the rod. There's nothing mystical about the wooden haft. The crystal on the end is definitely from a prior world. You think it might be a domination rod. The crystal saps the will of any creature it touches. You take it. The rod has a good heft and balance, like a well-made spear. It may or may not help you, but it will do more good in your hand than in the box. What's the azure steel dome? It's heavy, too heavy to lift by yourself. The best guess is that it's a wall projector of some kind, probably brought up here as a defensive measure for the laboratory. Unfortunately, you can't see any indication of what kind of barrier it would create, nor any way to activate it. I don't know. Touch the pulsing light. Now investigate the diamond. As soon as you approach the diamond, the top of it blooms open. An illusory globe appears within. Words and images speed across its surface. A woman's voice speaks directly into your mind. Welcome back. Please state your query. A wave of familiarity slams into you. The changing god used this as an archival device. He kept records of his thoughts and experiments. Specific records can be retrieved by speaking a search term. Alarm! Illusory globe becomes blank. The voice speaks into your mind. There are no matching entries. Please restate your entry. Escape. Previews of several entries flit through your mind. There's scores of results and you can't figure out how they're organized nor how quickly whether an entry will be useful to you or not. It takes some time to sift through them for something useful. You'll have to be careful what you spend time researching. Finally, you find one. It's what you're looking for. A male voice. The voice of the body you are wearing speaks in your mind. Your voice says, I won't take any risks with this new body. I've initiated a fail-safe procedure to transport me away. Should something happen to me or the laboratory, if any unforeseen danger presents itself, I should be able to escape to a backup location. Aha. The tides. The tides have proven to be an extremely fruitful path of exploration. The Tabat don't realize what they have unearthed. They saw these trinkets as just more Numenera, but these forces may even have the power to turn back death itself. I certainly hope so for her sake. Thunderous boom. The floor shakes and sways beneath you, causing you to lose your balance. Outside the dome, the horizon tilts back and forth, giving you a sense of vertigo. Suddenly a man appears in front of you. He's not all there. You can see the clouds and vista on the other side of him. He wears a look of human terror on its face. It's broken into the tower. It's only a matter of time before it reaches us here. You have to do something fast. His mannerisms remind you of the spectre from the labyrinth through his face, though his face, clothing, and voice are not the same. What's here? Why are the alarms going off? Its face darkens. The sorrow is here. It found us somehow, and now it's trying to break into the lab. We need to get out of here. What should we do? I strongly advise you to save yourself, thus saving both of our minds. Unfortunately, that would mean leaving her. He looks at the chamber and frowns. Oh, that's his daughter. I don't like it any more than you do. The only other options I can think of are to somehow stop the sorrow by force, unlikely, or figure out what it wants. He shakes his translucent head. I don't think we have enough time for either, but maybe you know something I don't. He points to the hovering diamond. Maybe you can find something in your archives to help us. Just be careful what you research in there. We don't have any time to waste. What does it want? I couldn't tell you what it wants. Maybe there's something in your archives. Okay. Go back to the archive. Come back. Please state your query. The sorrow. The voice says, I don't know what the sorrow is exactly, just that it's old, really old, and doesn't pay much attention to established laws of space-time. I wonder just how established those laws really are. Anyway, I first came across mention of it in my research of the tides. It appears to have been some kind of guardian against tidal abuse. Evidence suggests it may have been solely responsible for the destruction of one of the prior worlds. The voice sighs. My experiments with consciousness transfer appear to have woken it. I don't believe it's after me specifically, but I have come to believe it was responsible for the destruction of my previous laboratory. So it's a guardian against... Now let's see, consciousness transfer. Maybe that will say us something more. Consciousness transfer was a success. I transferred Mika to a new body first, so we know her name now. Mika. Clone of her original. There appeared to be no ill side effects after several days, so I performed the procedure on myself. I'll be watching both of us carefully over the next few weeks. Thus far, I'm very hopeful. I'm sure there will be unforeseeable long-term effects, but for the moment it seems I've found a way to stave off death itself. I cannot imagine any long-term effects that could outweigh that benefit. Suddenly there's a tremendous popping sound. The air sizzles, causing every hair to stand on end and your entire body to tingle dangerously. The spectral man appears in front of you again. It puts its hands on your shoulders, though you feel nothing. It shattered the electrostatic shield. If it breaks through the plasma window, we're done for. It looks at a hatch in the ground as though it could see through it. What's your plan? You've got a plan, right? Let's look at the stasis chamber. Outside the glass dome, the horizon moves slightly, as though the entire laboratory were swaying several kilometers up in the air. In the middle of the room is a large chamber with a figure inside it. The chamber. It's a ghostly woman's stasis chamber, the real one from which the labyrinth constructions were made. The changing god's daughter lies inside. Her skin is pale, and there are dark circles around her eyes. Her chest rises and falls as though she were sleeping soundly. This laboratory, this body, must belong to the changing god. Open the chamber. Spectral man appears between you and the chamber. His hands are raised in front of him placatingly. Hey, what are you doing? If you open that, Mika will die. Oh. He's just distracting us, this strange man. Return to the chamber. Look at the chamber. It's a stasis chamber. Inside lies a real version of the changing god's daughter. Just rises and fails. A soft, peaceful rhythm. I think they mean rises and falls, right? Speak to the spectral man again. Ah. What are you? Gives you an odd look now. It's really not the time to get into this again. I'm an intelligence put in charge of this laboratory and either created from or overlaid with your knowledge and personality. As your advisor, I refuse to argue about the nature of my existence until we are safely out of this mess. Can you make the alarm stop? Sure, just don't forget that the reason for the alarms is still on its way. The blaring alarms cease immediately, replaced with a low rumbling and an occasional crash of metal. Tell me about the girl in the chamber. I mean, Mika, he looks at the chamber. It's difficult to read his expression, but he seems sad. He's no better than she was before. Worse, actually. I hate to say this, but I don't think we can save her. You control the teleport failsafe? Yes, now there's a good idea. Problem is it can only teleport one person. The girl, your archives, your equipment will all be lost. Of your course, you can just recreate me from your own consciousness. It will be a total loss anyway. Why do you ask? You turn the failsafe off. What? Can you set it to teleport the girl instead of me if something happens? His illusory brow furrows. I could, but what's the point? Outside the stasis chamber, you'll die within months, a couple of years at best. It's better for you to live, so we can find a way to save her. No, let's get the girl out. Alright, it's done, but for the record, I think this is pure foolishness. As sorrow gets here, you're just throwing your life away. I mean, but we can teleport her out. Now, yeah, that's better. Can you activate the teleporter immediately? To get you out? Absolutely, that's probably the safest course, to be honest. Just say the word. He scratches his head. Remember, though, it is a failsafe. If you want to wait until the last minute to get something, or try something for her sake, safe to do so, probably. Yeah, activate the teleporter to get Mika out of here now. Absolutely not. He shakes his head emphatically. Already set the failsafe to teleport her instead of you, which, for the record, I think is a bad idea. There's no way I'm killing us all right now, no matter how scared you are. Okay, so he's an agenda on his own. Can you turn the failsafe off? Scouts, why would you do that? Not that I don't trust you to figure some way out of here, but somebody should escape with our knowledge. The point if we all die. Turn it off. I won't run away while she's stuck here. Visor crosses his arms across his chest. He's about to refuse, then he says, right, it's done. I think this is idiotic, though. It's a failsafe. It only activate if everything else failed. Girl's more important. Set the failsafe to teleport her out. All right, he frowns. It's done, but for the record, I think this is pure foolishness. Sorrow gets here, you're just throwing your life away. There's a hiss and a screech beneath the floor. Suddenly the metal hatch flies off its hinges, cracking the strong glass ceiling and smashing the glowing pedestal. Spectral Man's image disappears. A foul black cloud rises from the hatch, and the air is filled with an unearthly wail and the stench of rotting flesh. Tendrils lash out, slicing metal and synth whenever they touch it. A terrible face emerges from the cloud. It examines you, then it turns its attention to the chamber. Use the domination rod. A shout, you shove the crystal deep within the Sorrow's form. Nothing happens. Sorrow turns its horrible attention to you. One of its tendrils darts toward you, slicing through both the strong glass wall and steel floor. It reaches your face and you feel nothing. The tendril goes right through your body. You realize that the dome is fading away. No, your body is fading away as some device tucks it safely to another location. Sorrow's unearthly wail becomes a shriek. Though the spectral advisor is gone, you hear his voice in your head. I'm disobeying your command. We always said we'd never let our emotions get the better of us. If she dies, she dies, but if you die, then we're both gone, and our entire legacy with us. In fury, the Sorrow's tendrils flay the laboratory all around it. Chest and diamond are cut to ribbons. The chamber disintegrates in a ball of purple flame. And the last thing you see, as your mind fades from this body, is the face of the young girl, melting and boiling into ash. Oh my goodness.
I'm ready to learn something new.
The advisor. It's the AI that took over, that failed all of this. Oh my goodness. What's happening now? The ghostly woman appears next to you. She stares at the door you just emerged from, her eyes as round as the moon. I remember now, all of it. I told you I was aware of everything while I was in that chamber. I remember my father abandoning me. I remember too how you risked your life for me. After the Sorrow destroyed the stasis chamber, I woke up here, in the labyrinth. I wasn't aware, though, for a long time, not until you came and started changing things. What do you mean I started changing things? She looks at you. Her eyes are brighter now, full of confidence. You are the last cast-off, the one my father created to witness this place, to command it. You've been changing the labyrinth since you were first born. You are the one who will decide our fate. So you're not just a memory, then? No, she says, firm and certain. I'm not a memory, nor a reflection, or a lacuna. I am Mika, the full consciousness of the changing god's daughter. I couldn't save you. You tried. My father's advisor was just as self-centered as he was. It was his self, after all. She gives you a half-hearted smile. Maybe there are more realities you can't change. Understand all I need to. So what do we do now? The ghostly woman, Mika, points to the door on the opposite side of the fathom. There is one more mirror. Enter it, open the resonance, and end this for all of us. Go, there's not much time. Had enough time to level up. Could go for more persuasion, right? But not like this. We could go extra effort. Stat pools. 2 more stat pools. Here we go. Thank you for watching, and happy gaming to you. We'll see each other in the next episode when we try to open the other door and see where this leads us. Have a great time until then, and happy gaming. This is Immanuel signing out. See you soon, my friends.